watched a lot of developers use AI over the past 2 years. Junior, senior, doesn't matter. And almost all of them are making at least one of the same five mistakes. Not because they are bad developer, because nobody actually taught them how to use these tools properly. They are just start using them. So today I am going through the five most common mistakes that I see, why each one is most dangerous than it looks, and exactly what to do instead. If you recognize yourself for even one of these, that's the point. Here's why this matters. AI tools are incredibly good at sounding confident. They are giving you a clean, professional looking answer, whether that answer is completely right or completely wrong. And that's the real danger. If a person sounded unsure, you are probably double check them. But because AI sounds confident, most developers don't. That gap between confidence and correctness is where the almost every mistake in the video come from. So let's start from this biggest one. Mistake number one, and this is the most common one I can see. Accepting AI generated code without then actually understanding what it does. It's an easy trap. The suggestion looks reasonable. It's formatted nicely. It's probably even work when you test it. So you accept it and move on to the next ticket. The problem show up later. 3 weeks later, when that exact piece of code breaks in the way nobody can explain, because the person who wrote it never actually understand what it was doing in the first place. I am seeing this especially with the logic that looks unnecessarily complicated. Sometimes complicated code exists for a reason, a previous bug, an edge cases, a business rule nobody documented. If you don't understand why the code does what it does, you can't tell the difference between this is overcomplicated and should be simplified. And this is the complexity is protecting us from a problem that already happened once. Here is the fix. Before you accept the AI suggestion more than a few lines long, ask yourself first question. Could I explain this code to someone else line by line right now? If the answer is no, that's your signal to slow down and actually read it properly. Not just trust that it works because it compiled. Mistake number two. Using AI for a decision it's fundamentally not equipped to make. AI is excellent at well-defined pattern-based work. Writing a function with a clear input and output, generating a first draft of unit tests, producing documentation for a code that already exists. That's the sweet spot. And it's a genuinely impressive there. Where the developers grow wrong, asking AI to make a decision that require context it simply doesn't have. Should we add new microservices or extend the existing one? Is this technical debt worth paying down now? Or should we ship the feature first because of the deadline next week? AI will give you a confident, articulate answer to question like that. But it's a reasoning from a general patterns, not from your team's actually priorities, your roadmap, or the conversation your engineer lead with the VP last Tuesday. The fix is a simple to say and harder to practice. Use AI to gather options and trade-offs, never to make the final call on the anything that depends on the context specific to your company. If the decision requires knowing why we do things this way here, that the decision is yours, not the model's. Mistake number three. Treating an AI code review comment as the final word, the same way you might with a senior engineer's feedback. AI is genuinely useful in a code review. It catches the inconsistent naming, missing null checks, and obvious often error. A test that doesn't actually test when its name claims. That's the real value. It used to eat up the first 10 minutes of every review I did. But here is the problem. A senior engineer's review comment comes with the context. They know the roadmap. They know why the certain pattern exists in your code base. They know what the trade-offs matter for this specific team right now. An AI review comment has none of that. It's a pattern matching against the general best practices. When developers treat those two things as equivalents, they either overtrust a shallow comment or worse, dismiss a good comment because it sounds like the AI stuff. The fix treats every AI review comment as a first draft of review, not the review itself. Ask why it's flagging something. If you can't articulate the reason beyond that AI said so, you haven't actually reviewed the code. You are just forwarded someone else's confidence. Mistake number 4. Reaching for an AI is the exact moments where the what actually needed is a human taking responsibility. When the production system breaks at 2 a.m., the instincts to paste the error into the AI tool and wait for the answer is understandable, but it's the wrong instinct under pressure. What that moment actually requires is someone investigate directly, building a clear picture fast, and being confident enough to make the call and own the consequences, whatever they are. Same thing is a stakeholder conversation. If the product manager asks whether something is feasible by next spring, that's not a technical lookup. It's a negotiation built on a trust that you develop with that person over time. You can't paste that into prompt and forward the response. The pattern here is the simple. Anything where someone needs to be accountable for the outcome, an incident, a commitment to a stakeholder, a judgment call under pressure, this is the moment for a human, not a tool. AI can help you to prepare for that moment. It cannot send it for you. Mistake number 5, and this one matter most for the junior developer specifically. Using AI as a replacement for learning fundamentals instead of as an accelerator for learning them. There is a real difference between asking AI to explain a concept you are trying to understand and asking AI to solve a problem so you never ever understand concept at all. The first approach makes you faster over time. The second one means every new problem feels like starting from zero because you never built the underlying mental model that lets you recognize pattern over your own. This is the mistake that doesn't show up immediately. It shows up a 6 month or a year in when the developers who has been learning entirely on the AI suggestions gets handed a problem slightly outside the pattern AI is good at and has a no foundation to fall back on. The fix every time AI gives you a solution, spend 30 extra seconds asking it or yourself why that solution work. That's a small habit is the difference between using AI to skip a learning and using AI to learn faster than any previous generation of developers ever could. So, 5 mistakes. Blindly accepting code you don't understand. Using AI for a decision it has a no context for. Treating its review comments as a final judgment. Reaching for it in moment that need a real ownership. And letting it replace your fundamentals instead of accelerating them. But here is the bigger lesson. The developers who win in the AI era won't be the people using AI most. They'll be the people who know when not to use it. Let me know in the comments which one of these 5 hit closest to home for you. I'm genuinely curious which mistake is the most common out there. If this video useful, hit like, subscribe to Jayvitech Studio. I'll be the see you in the next one.